Kindly observe silence, please. Thank you. Thank you, brothers.
The next we'll do some breathing exercise. You breathe a little, but you exhale more. Yeah? Okay. We do some tapping exercise. Now we will do some balancing exercise. Yeah, I'll sit on a chair, get up. Say about, you can do as many as you can, but start small, but build up to say about 10. Yeah. This exercise will help you, but do start small, but build up to say 10. Yeah. Now the next one we'll do a balancing exercise. I think it's best to hold the chair, and it'll help just in case you have a fall. Yeah. I showed this exercise which I'm going to show again. This is something you can do while you're brushing your teeth. Say for a minute or two. Start small but build up. Yeah. And next exercise I'll show you is the one we do every Sunday in our walk. Yeah, 1 second. Okay, little movement exercise. Yeah. Again, start small but build up as you can. Yeah. Okay, the next one is some stretching exercise. Again, do as much as you can. You don't have to go all the way, yeah? Again, small balancing exercise, but you probably find you walk on the ground rather than carpets and without socks, and it's really helpful. Again, balancing and balance exercise. You see, at this age, if you fall, it's not easy. Okay, some more exercise. Just follow me. Again, do as much as you can, yeah? There is one exercise I found it very helpful. I was advised that after every meal, if you can, walk out of the house and walk for 5 minutes each way. If you can't do 5 minutes, do 2 minutes each way. If you can't go out of the house, do it in a garden. If you can't go in the garden, do it in your house. This will really help you. Say, aim for 10 minutes, but start small. And that really give you good health. Maybe a flat stomach as well. The secret of any exercise is to start small, but build up. But even if, like, the time you will feel energetic is if you go on a holiday, when you come back, it's very difficult to adjust. So at that time, just put on your shoes and go out, say, for 1 minute. And this will gradually build up. Thank you, Asant. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Abdul Bhai, to step in the shoes of Malim. At the moment, Malim Murtaza Bhai is still not here in town. So even the tafsir, we will start the tafsir next week, but we will start with Surah Yasin now, please. I would humbly request you all to please hold absolute silence when the Quran is being recited. Jazakallah. Thank you, brothers.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون وسواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون إنما تنذر من اتبع الذكرى وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشره بمغفرة وأجر كريم إنا نحن نحيي الموتى ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين واضرب لهم مثلا أصحاب القرية إذ جاءها المرسلون إذ أرسلنا إليهم اثنين فكذبوهما فعززنا بثالث فقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون قالوا ما أنتم إلا بشر مثلنا وما أنزل الرحمن من شيء إن أنتم إلا تكذبون قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم لمرسلون وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين قالوا إنا تطيرنا بكم لئن لم تنتهوا لنرجمنكم وليمسنكم منا عذاب أليم قالوا طائركم معكم أئن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا المرسلين أتبع من لا يسألكم أجرا وهم مهتدون وما لي لا أعبد الذي فطرني وإليه ترجعون أأتخذ من دونه آلهة إن يردني الرحمن بضر لا تغني عني شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون إني إذن لفي ضلال مبين إني آمنت بربكم فاسمعون قيل ادخل الجنة قال يا ليت قومي يعلمون بما غفر لي ربي وجعلني من المكرمين وما أنزلنا على قومه من بعده من جند من السماء وما كنا منزلين إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم خامدون يا حسرة على العباد ما يأتيهم من رسول إلا كانوا به يستهزئون ألم يروا كما أهلكنا قبلهم من القرون أنهم إليهم لا يرجعون وإن كل لما جميع لدينا محضرون وآية لهم الأرض الميتة أحييناها وأخرجنا منها حبا فمنه يأكلون وجعلنا فيها جنات من نخيل وأعناب وفجرنا فيها من العيون ليأكلوا من ثمره وما عملته أيديهم أفلا يشكرون سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض ومن أنفسهم ومما لا يعلمون وآية لهم الليل نسلخ منه النهار فإذا هم مظلمون والشمس تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم والقمر قدرناه منازل حتى عاد كالعرجون القديم لا الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون وآية لهم أنا حملنا ذريتهم في الفلك المشحون وخلقنا لهم من مثله ما يركبون وإن نشأ نغرقهم فلا صريخ لهم ولا هم ينقذون إلا رحمة منا ومتاعا إلى حين وإذا قيل لهم اتقوا ما بين أيديكم وما خلفكم لعلكم ترحمون وما تأتيهم من آية من آيات ربهم إلا كانوا عنها معرضين وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا أنطعم من لو يشاء الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين. ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ما ينظرون إلا صيحة واحدة تأخذهم وهم يخصمون فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون. ونفخ في الصور فإذا هم من الأجداث إلى ربهم ينسلون. قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا محضرون. فاليوم لا تظلم نفس شيئا ولا تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون. إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون سلام قولا من رب رحيم وامتازوا اليوم أيها المجرمون. ألم أحد إليكم يا بني آدم أن لا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين وأن اعبدوني هذا صراط مستقيم. ولقد أضل منكم جبلا كثيرا أفلم تكونوا تعقلون. هذه جهنم التي كنتم توعدون اصلوها اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون. اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون. ولو نشاء لطمسنا على أعينهم فاستبقوا الصراط فأنى يبصرون. ولو نشاء لمسخناهم على مكانتهم فما استطاعوا مضيا ولا يرجعون. ومن نعمره ننكسه في الخلق أفلا يعقلون. وما علمناه الشعر وما ينبغي له إن هو إلا ذكر وقرآن مبين لينذر من كان حيا ويحق القول على الكافرين. أولم يروا أنا خلقنا لهم مما عملت أيدينا أنعاما فهم لها مالكون وذللناها لهم فمنها ركوبهم ومنها يأكلون ولهم فيها منافع ومشارب أفلا يشكرون. واتخذوا من دون الله آلهة لعلهم ينصرون. لا يستطيعون نصرهم وهم لهم جند محضرون. فلا يحزنك قولهم إنا نعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون. أولم ير الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين. وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم. وهو بكل خلق عليم الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون. أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم. إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون. فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الفاتحة.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Welcome.
Brothers, we are trying to sort out the cable. I think it should be here very soon, inshallah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I begin in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most merciful, the most beneficent, and all praises to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this amazing opportunity yet again. So before we start, can we just, we will requested for du'as for a person who is not so well and other people are not well. And can we also remember all those people who are on journeys for their safe journey back, on their ziyarat trips, on their umrah trips. All those who are fighting on the fronts against the oppressors for us all over the world, okay, to protect them and to give them full victory. And for all our brothers and sisters throughout the world, let us recite 5 times Amma Yujib, please. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Amma Yujibul Mustarra Iza Da'ahu wa Yakshifu Su. 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 Al-Fatiha, Shafa'i Mirza, Daftar al-Bala. Bismillah. So I'm just going to make an announcement about next week's speaker. I think all of us should attend with as many friends as well. You can come along. I've finally got to get this consultant urologist from East London. He's one of our brothers. I'm very proud to have him as my good friend as well. And I think many of you know him. His name is Dr. Fayaz Kapasi. Okay, and he'll be speaking on all the problems about prostate, etc. Now, we've had several sessions on prostate, but Dr. Kapasi is an actual consultant, and I've given him enough time next week, so please do come in lots numbers, please. Those of you who are interested, I think it affects each and every one of us above the age of 30, 40 years old, mainly 40 years old, etc. So it will be very, very important lecture next week, inshallah. Okay, I am very, very pleased to welcome one of our veterans of seniors, Al-Haj Pirbhai Tejani, who is just over there. Pirbhai, please, if you can say salams to everybody, please, yeah. Thank you very much. And, you know, he's obviously here for the wedding of his grandchildren. But it's always a pleasure to have him. And I think we will also book him for a spot in a week or so, whenever he's available, to talk to us. Okay, and he has kindly invited all of us, and he says that you and your family members are cordially invited to grace the nikah ceremony of Sakina, the daughter of Sajjad Bashir Tejani, and Ali Raza Salim Ghulam Hamir, here in Stanmore, on Saturday the 5th of September. At 5 p.m., the dinner will be served, inshallah, and your presence will be an honor for both the families. So please kindly attend in large numbers. So I'm kind of finished now. Are you ready? Okay. Once again, it's a great pleasure to have another veteran optician in our community, Mohsin Pirbhai, for the part 2 of his the talk on optometry. Okay, and please make your questions ready as well. And I think this time also he has introduced some other gentleman who will be talking to us on his present condition, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, here you are.
Unfortunately, that's not working, but we'll go without it, I suppose. Do I need a mic? No, it's okay. Shall I move?
Yeah. Loud salawat, please.
Allahumma salli ala. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Basically, I hope you're obviously enjoying the glorious summer we are having. But at the same time, I hope that you are sort of protecting your eyes against the UV rays, which affect the structure of the eyes. Very simple, protection, wear sunglasses. It makes a lot of difference. So that's what I would recommend. So basically, obviously protect your eyes in the sun, okay? Now, unfortunately, this is not working, so I'll have to just, sort of go through as I go along. So the topic that I've chosen today, it applies to all of us up to a certain extent. A lot of work has gone in, and a lot of research has gone in, and for our benefit, because there have been sort of treatments coming along which we never had, and certainly it's been a long sort of way forward for us. So we have benefited, and that is dry eyes. Now, what does it mean by dry eyes? Dry eyes basically means two things. One, either there's not enough tears in the eye, or there's a disruption in the tear fluid. Now, why do we need tear fluid? Well, we need tear fluid because, one, it protects the eyes against any dust, any infection coming in. Secondly, every time you blink, there's fresh flow of tears coming in. That will bring nutrition and oxygen to the cornea. The cornea is the front surface of the eye. The one that's the window of the eye. That's where the light is going through. Because obviously, if it's not, sort of wetting properly, then it means that it doesn't give us the vision that we need. And yeah.
Sorry, we'll interrupt for 2 seconds. Yeah, bismillah.
Come on, fit, come on.
You have to see clearly to put it in the right place, right? You can. Naqvi, we need your help, please. Oh, you can see him. There it is. While this is happening, for those, sorry, okay, no problem. While this is happening, for those of you who have grandchildren or young men or women going to universities this year, please go to your local pharmacies, and they will be offering the meningitis B vaccine, okay? So make sure that your children get the meningitis B vaccines, and you need to make an appointment with the National Vaccination Center, NVC, and they will direct you to the nearest pharmacy that is offering. I think almost 90 to 95% of the pharmacies are offering the meningitis B vaccine before your son or daughter or your grandson or daughter going into university. Okay, it's very important. You remember the epidemic that started somewhere in Wales earlier this year. Okay, so this is a new rollout. I think all your children are vaccinated against ACWY, the meningitis vaccine, but not specifically vaccine meningitis B. Okay, so just an advice for you guys. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready, but not connected.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So to carry on from where we were, dry eyes, why does it happen? Well, there are a lot of different reasons for it, and the main thing here is that there are two types of dry eyes. One is where not enough fluid is being produced by the glands in the eyelid margin, or the tears tend to evaporate. Now, obviously, I'll go into it later. So the causes, the etiology of the tears itself, there are three layers in the tears. One that is near touching the cornea, which is the protein layer, which is called mucin. Then there's an aqueous layer, which is the main part of the tears, and is covered by the lipid layer, which is secreted by the glands in the eyelid margin, just about there. Now, that is where we will come back later. Now, what are the causes of dry eyes? Now, we know that over the age of 50, about 50% of the tears are not being produced. So basically, it just happens not because of any reason, nothing wrong. When these things happen, like any conditions in the body, conditions in the eyes, there's nothing wrong. I mean, it can happen, and it's not our fault. It just happens, and obviously we have to work at it. It's basically if you were here yesterday, this guy obviously, he did a very good presentation. So certainly what he was saying, if there's nothing working, there is a reason for it, and obviously you've got to work on it, so it's not a big thing. If you're looking at the computer screens for a long time without a break, and obviously I'll come back to that in a minute, when in normal circumstances, we blink about 14,000 times a day. Now, when you're sort of out and about, you tend to blink about 10 to 15 times in a minute. When it comes to looking at the screen, you tend to only blink once a minute because you're concentrating on the screen. So depending on the environment that you're working in, if you're in an environment where it's quite warm or air conditioned, then naturally the eyes tend to dry up. But obviously, again, I come back to in a minute. If you're out, if you're not protecting yourself, where you want your sunglasses, it's windy, dry, or dusty, wear some kind of protection. Now, whether it's raining, okay, it's raining or windy, if you're going for walks, just protect your eyes with anything. It doesn't have to be prescription. That would help. If you're smoking or spend time in smoking environment, then obviously it will affect the eyes. It will affect the dry eyes. The eyes will dry up. You take certain medications. Now, quite a lot of medications do affect, the eyes. They affect the tears, production of tears. Medication for antidepressant, diabetic, blood pressure. The pharmacists are the best people to guide you because obviously, if you have anything that you are not sure, the pharmacists are the best people because you can't get an appointment from the doctor. The doctor doesn't know much, really. Okay, he knows, but he knows very basic stuff. Either the opticians are the best people for you to go first, but if you can't get, then obviously the pharmacists are the other people who are already there. You don't have to make appointments to see the pharmacist, right? You can just turn up. I hope so. All right, and you have certain eye conditions, certain conditions, which is blepharitis. Now, blepharitis is one of the eye conditions where the eyelids become very dry, and it's a nuisance. It really is, and unfortunately, it is noticeable in quite a few people. Again, obviously, with treatment, it can probably help. You have conditions, where dry conditions like Sion's syndrome, which means the eyes, the whole body is getting a bit dry. Everything is getting dry. You can't help it. It's one of or lupus is the other thing that would affect the eyes. Okay, the dry eyes. What are the symptoms? Well, if you ask anybody who's got dry eyes, they will say, it's irritating. That's it, finished. There's nothing else they can say. They will say, it's irritating, really. And they don't say much because they don't know what it is. But now, everything is opening up. So you can look at things, you can go to your opticians and they can tell you, or you can go to the pharmacist who can guide you to what you should be doing. So the symptoms are a stinging, burning, or scratchy sensation in your eyes, okay? And stringy mucus in and around eyes. And especially in the hay fever season, you tend to get that. Stringy sort of mucus coming out of the eye, which you can really pull it, but it's not fun. It's not fun. It makes the eyes very sort of sensitive. Sensitivity to light. You tend to find if you've got dry eyes, it tends to affect the tears. And obviously that, if the tears are affected, then it tends to make your eyes very sensitive to light. Redness of the eyes, slightly redness because the eyes are getting very dry. and a sensation of having something in the eyes. Now, obviously, there's something, they feel there's something in the eyes, but it's just a dryness. So obviously, it's one of the conditions there that you notice. Difficulty with nighttime driving, again, because your tear fluid is disrupted. So when you're driving at night, you just not sure. You can still drive and still get to your station, but it's you can notice it. Watery eyes, which is the body's response to the irritation of dry. Now, this is going against. Now, we are talking about dry eyes, and sometimes people say to me, "Oh, my eyes water like hell." Well, what does it mean? That means that your eyes are very dry because the brain thinks. So they get a signal. The eyes get the glands get a signal that I'm getting dry. So a lot of tears come in. Now, on the lower lid, upper lid, eyelid, there are pores through which the excess fluid tends to go. Like when you're slicing the onions or when you're crying, then obviously the excess fluid tends to go through. This way, if it's a lot of fluid coming out, it doesn't. There's no way it can be drained out. So obviously, if when you say my eyes are watering like anything, that's one of the reasons of dry eyes. Blurred vision or eye fatigue. Now, again, blurred vision is affected because the surface is not smooth, and hence you tend to find that it would affect your vision. How do you prevent? Well, how do you prevent getting dry eyes? Well, avoid air blowing in your eyes directly if you're driving, or if you're using a hair dryer, car air conditions or fans towards your eyes. So sometimes people, when they are at work or at home, they have a sort of fan directly because it's getting quite hot. So they will have a fan directly, and also it will make the eyes dry. You can add moisture to the air. In winter, a humidifier can add moisture to dry indoor air. Worth considering, humidifiers are very effective. Some people find them very good. Some people might not sort of find it, but generally it's very good. Consider wearing wraparound sunglasses or other protective eyewear. You can have safety shield on the glasses if need. If if the dry eyes bother you, then it is there. So obviously that would help. Be aware of your environment. Now, if you are sort of air at high altitude and in the airplane, it can be extremely dry. When spending such a time in an environment, it may be helpful to frequently close your eyes for a few minutes at a time to minimize evaporation of your tears. So close your eyes and and then give it about a minute before you open up, and do it a few times. It just helps. Position your computer screen below eye level, because when you're looking at the computer at eye level above, your eyes tend to open up, and that tends to lead to dryness. So keep your computer slightly down, which makes sense actually. Position your computer screen below eye level so that you won't open your eyes as wide. This may help slow the evaporation of your eye tears. Stop smoking and avoid smoke. If you obviously, again, your pharmacists are people who can give you quit smoking strategy, and smoking does worsen dry eye symptoms. You can use tears, artificial tears, regularly. If you have chronic dry eyes, use eye drops even when your eyes feel fine to keep them well lubricated. Now, I'm going to come back to that in a minute. Years ago, when people used to have dry eyes, you go to Morpheus, that was the place to go to at that time. They will be told, use sodium bicarbonate, make up sodium bicarbonate solution, and with the cotton wool, just do the eye, just about the eyelashes on that margin in both up and low. And they will give you some saline eye drops, and that was it. So not knowing why are you getting dry eyes. So obviously they were trying to do their best. The etology, I mean obviously we know the tears. How do you sort of diagnose what sort of dry eyes you have got? Obviously the only people who can do it is the opticians, because they can pick up the dry eyes. Is it because of lack of tears, or because the glands are getting blocked up? The glands, these are the glands that, obviously are the ones that produce moisture, produce the lipid layer that covers the tears so the tears don't evaporate. Now, that is widely noticeable in a lot of people, but again, I'll come to that in a minute. Treatment, clean your eyelids every day. Take breaks to rest your eyes when watching TV or using a computer screen. Make sure your computer screen is below eye level. Use a humidifier, we mentioned, and if you're wearing contact lenses, then obviously take them out and wear glasses to rest your eyes. The thing not to do is do not smoke. Do not spend too long in smoky, dry, or dusty places. Do not spend too long in air-conditioned or heated rooms. Do not stop taking a prescribed medicine without getting medical advice first, even if you think it's causing your symptoms. So it's something to keep in mind. Nowadays, the treatments are quite a lot in the market. You can use eye drops. Now, eye drops is the easiest thing. Obviously, you buy some eye drops over the counter and use them, obviously with the advice of the pharmacist. They can guide you to what eye drops. If you're using eye drops 10 times a day, then you know that there's something not quite right, because you need to know what is the problem. Now, if you haven't got enough tears, then you can use one of the leading ophthalmologists. So in the old days, we would say to people, take a towel or handkerchief with warm water and put it in front of your eyes for 10 to 15 minutes. Now, nobody's going to do it nowadays, right? Everybody wants to quick, fix. And you tend to find, so what they've done is they've come up with the same principle, but in an eye mask, which you warm it up in the microwave for 30 seconds, take it out, put it on the, make sure it's not hot, just cover your eyes for 10 to 15 minutes, take it off, and then gently massage the eyeball for about 10 seconds, not more. If you do that for 4 to 6 weeks, it makes a lot of difference. It tends to bring the tears in the eyes, so certainly it helps. And also, obviously, the lid margin, you can use lid wipes, which would just open up the pores on the eyelid margin, which would help. So, and apart from that, there are other treatments coming in. Now, the other treatment is, where they use intense light pulse, to make the tears release more sort of, the glands to release more tears. So there are treatments available, but the main thing there is obviously, go to the optician to obviously find out what is the cause. Then you can sort out, the treatment. So basically, very simple, very straightforward. I think that's just about it. Yeah. So is there anybody asking question answer?
Can you talk about some preservatives, contact lens, and how does it affect the dry eye, basically? So it's preservative-free eye drops.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, wearing contact lenses, it does dry the eyes up, especially if you're in a closed environment. So, with contact lenses, you can use certain drops which are designed to wet the lenses whilst they're in the eye, because obviously people are wearing contact lenses at work or whatever. So certainly we need some kind of help. Probably either preservative or not, but a lot of drops now are non-preserved anyway. So certainly they are better than preserved. But there are a lot of very good, sort of effective drops out in the market now, which would help to sort of relieve the symptoms without any effect on the eyes. So that's what I would. But again, obviously, pharmacists are the best people to guide you. So certainly, so we can have question answer now, or I got another subject that I want to talk about very quickly. When we
anybody able to ask questions now, or shall we carry on? Okay, yeah, please.
The subject is an eye.
Yes.
Dry eye, does it connect with the cataract?
No, nothing to do with cataract. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I take this optician, they've given me just a drop to make it ready. But still, I can feel it when reading, it's becoming a bit
Yep.
problem. Is there any solution for that?
No, Bell's palsy is difficult to correct, and obviously the eyelid tends to sag. So you tend to find that unless actually now there are treatments where you can bring your eyelid up. So I was going to talk about in a minute. But there are treatments where they can bring your eyelid up, because what's happening is your eyelid is sagging, so it's not conforming to the eyeball. So obviously every tear, I mean, it can't get out from the tear, the pores, what they call lacrimal duct, which is a tiny little duct in there. So obviously, it will go out. It can't, so everything would come on the face. So they are. The thing that is there any other question? Or we can have it later. Yeah. The drooping eyelid, now obviously it does happen. There's the seventh nerve, the cranial nerve supplies the muscles of the eyelid, the eyelids. Now, they can sort of droop with time, and when it droops, it does affect the eyes. And I would normally recommend that treatment is you can get the treatment. It's very simple treatment to lift the eyelid. And it opens up your vision. So certainly, it is there. And when I mentioned about, the sagging, it's just come out, the treatment now, where they can lift your obviously, it's just not Bell's palsy, it's even because of age, the skin tends to sag. So it certainly, it does help. It makes a difference. When I talked last time, I mean, we obviously talked about various conditions. There were too many of them. And sometimes, we mention about problems, but every problem has got a solution up to a certain extent. There's not a problem which hasn't got a solution, otherwise it won't be a problem. So I just wanted to quickly mention, like cataract. Now, cataract is, once you do the cataract, great, everything is clear. After a few days or few months or few years, a skin tends to form on inside the eye, on the capsule of the lens. So that means the things start to get a bit hazy. Now, it's not. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, cataract is where the lens inside the eye is getting a little bit hazy, and it's a normal physiological change unless you got other bodily conditions. Then it can be a little bit quicker, but otherwise it's a normal physiological change where the lens in the eye is getting a bit hazy. To an extent, because it does affect your vision, it affects your night vision. So to an extent, obviously you can. Then you obviously get the surgery done. Now, I would recommend if the doctor or ophthalmologist says get it done, then I would get it done, because before it starts getting to a stage where it could be a problem. So with the capsule, the skin growing on the capsule, you can it's very easy. They laser it out. It takes 2 minutes, literally. But so the cataract cannot come back. Once it's done, it's done. It can't come back. So that takes only 2 minutes. If you suddenly find that things are getting a bit hazy, then obviously, you can see the ophthalmologist, and they can do it straight away whilst you're there. No surgery, nothing. Okay, so one thing. With glaucoma, when you go for a checkup and you have pressure, let's say the pressure is quite high, ask them to do it again after a day, a couple of days, when you might be a bit relaxed, because sometimes after the eye test, you might be a bit tense, and so let's do the pressure, and then bang. The pressure obviously, can be slightly higher. Pressure can be a bit higher if the cornea is hard. Obviously you wouldn't know, but I mean, the optician optometrist would be able to, pick it up. So basically, don't worry. Just ask them to do it again, just to make sure that the pressure is not on that day a bit high. It can vary a little bit. Again, in the morning it's slightly higher than it's in the afternoon. That's what you tend to notice. So, and then when they ask you to do the field of vision test, now field of vision test, it used to be a main thing every time, you will see people who do a field of vision test, but it's very difficult as the time goes on. It's very difficult to pick up those little stimulus. It goes and you don't pick it up. So it's not in great favor. It is still there. With people with glaucoma, they would sort of check and see if they can pick it up. But it's not very easy for the people to go through that. So it's one of those things which I would say when you go for an eye test. The other things that I mentioned. With diabetes, I mean, obviously, the signs of diabetes are there, in the early stages. When you are sort of, getting very thirsty, you're going to the toilet quite a bit, you feel tired. So these are the symptoms. Obviously, if the symptoms are there, then do, see if you can do something about it, because any conditions, if it's picked up early, can be, sort of treated. if you leave it a little bit longer, then obviously it can affect. Now, we know as the time goes on with diabetic people, it does affect the vision. It affects the blood supply, and obviously, again, it does affect the structures in the eyes. So just to keep in mind, what I was going to say with I was surprised. I was just reading about vitamin A for the eyes, and very, very important. Vitamin A is broccoli, carrots, and liver. Obviously very, very strong. For the tear flow actually. So certainly, something that you should have it in your diet. In the case of macular degeneration, the lutein, which is kale, spinach, green peas, egg yolks, pumpkin, and squash, pistachio nuts. So if you can have something, then it would help. Coming to the, again, exercise and hydration, I mean, obviously, we mention it, and this NHS guidelines, which says 150 minutes of moderate intensity, or 75 minutes of intense aerobic activities. This can be achieved by brisk walking, cycling, swimming, or dancing. Incorporate muscle strengthening activities 2 days a week, which means flexibility exercise include yoga, Pilates, and balance activities. Very useful to come here on Tuesday morning, with Bashir Lada. I mean, he does a very, very good session. Hydration. Hydration is very important because dehydration does affect people. So recommended 6 to 8 glasses of fluid, which is not that much in a day, which is minimal. So this is minimal. So with exercise, if you can, 150 minutes is nothing really. VDU guidelines. I just wanted, because everybody wears, everybody works on the screen nowadays. Most important is wear proper glasses. Now, the glasses that you might have, multifocals or reading glasses, say they don't focus on the right distance. Unless you move if you're on a laptop, then you move it, or on the desktop, you come very close, because in the multifocal, the distance is there, the intermediate and the reading is at the bottom. So if your screen is there and you keep on looking there, very soon you get, sort of stretched. So there are, occupational lenses, which are very good for people who work on the screen. So something that you might want to consider. Position of the screen. Now, if you have a screen with very bright background, a window or something, then it tends to give you a lot of glare, which can make your eyes tired very quickly. Lighting should such be that there should be no sort of reflection on the screen, and take a break. Every 20 minutes for 20 seconds, look at something nice in the distance, for 20 meters, and keep on blinking. So just but it's difficult because when you're on the screen, people are working, and it's not easy to do that. Switch off the phone and computer at least 1 hour before you go to sleep. Strongly recommended, because that blue light on the phone does affect your sleep. People can't sleep straight away. So switch off the phone and computer at least 1 hour. Do not use your phone in the dark, because it gives you strain on the eyes. Now, with us, it's quite important, dark adaptation. When you get up in the middle of the night and you want to go to the washroom, when you get up, just give it about 10, 20, 30 seconds before you start walking, because you tend to find that you need to adapt to the dark adaptation. That dark adaptation means that, suddenly you tend to find that you can probably see things a bit better. So if you still need to get up and walk to the washroom, you might not be ready for it. So that's, ready for adaptation. But I mean, that's the only thing that I wanted to mention. Is there any questions?
What do you say about age-related macular degeneration? Is there any new treatment for it?
No. There is supposed to be treatment. Well, there's a question mark. Let's put it that way. So the question was: is there any treatment for macular degeneration? Age-related macular degeneration? Not really. No, I mean, obviously, if it's wet, I beg your pardon. If it's wet, then yes, by injecting in the eye, and that tends to help. But otherwise, there are equipment, and the results are not published yet. I mean, it's very difficult to say whether it's effective or not. So, yeah. Anybody else? Yeah.
On spirituality, are there any ayahs of the Quran?
I have no idea. I'm very naive in that. Zero. Yeah. Sorry.
Catholic care you mentioned, especially when you mentioned you feel heavy,
Yeah.
then you go, sometimes they call you for a laser treatment. Is that correct?
After the cataract surgery. Cataract surgery is done, after a few months or few years, the skin tends to sort of develop on the capsule of the lens. So in the eye, just behind the cornea, there's a capsule of the lens, and then take the lens out and replace it. So that's intact, and then you tend to find that the skin would grow on that, and that's the one they laser. Yeah, so 2 minutes laser, yeah, literally. They tried to do, no, they go to ophthalmologist. Yeah, yeah, the specialist rather. Opticians can't do it, not yet. Nothing. Nothing. Like once it's done, it's done. You don't need to do anything at home. Yeah. So they got.
Sorry.
Go on.
What's this dry and wet macular problem?
Well, wet is where you tend to find you start getting distortion in the vision, and the central vision starts getting affected, and that can be sort of. You can't cure it, you can't correct it, but it can steady down the condition. The wet one, the wet. Yeah, the dry one, there's nothing you can do about it.
But how do you know? How do you diagnose?
Well, just by the vision, the distortion in the vision, mainly. That's where you can pick it up. But it's difficult to pick it up otherwise, because there's so many sort of deposits on the macula itself. Now, some of them, sometimes when I see people in the practice, and you see a lot of sort of deposits on the macula, and they can still see 100%. So what do? I mean, you don't refer because there's no treatment for it really. Just advise them on the diet, but they obviously how much I mean, it's great to have sort of to recommend a diet, but you can't change your diet. Let's face it. I mean, luckily for us, we got a good diet, because when there's a Mediterranean diet, I mean, our diet with what we have, vegetarian, sort of dal and whatever, that is very good. That is a good diet. So we are fortunate from that point of view. So it doesn't affect our body that much. So
One more question.
yeah.
During your talk, you talked about diabetes.
Yes.
How does one know that he's on the borderline?
Can you repeat that?
Yeah.
You talked about diabetes. How do we know whether we are on borderline, we are about to get it, or we have got it?
Just by blood test from the doctor. I mean, we have annual blood test. So obviously the doctors, I mean, in the blood test, they can give you an idea on the sugar level. Apart from that, I mean, as I mentioned, if you start, sort of all of a sudden feeling very thirsty, or if you're going to the toilet, quite a few, especially at night, waking up about 3 or 4 times in the night, it can be normal, but I'm just mentioning just possible, or tiredness. If you feel very tired, not done much, but you're feeling very tired, then that's possibly a sign of diabetes.
Can it be age-related?
No. It's noticeable. Everything is noticeable as the time goes on, but not necessarily. It is there. In diabetes, you can get, if you had a heavy night, you went out for a meal and you had excess, sugar and whatever, and you wake up in the morning and with a slight double vision. And when I say double vision, we just rub our eyes and say it's normal. It's not normal, because that is the sugar level is high, and it can affect your vision during the day. So your vision might be fine in the morning, come the afternoon, and it starts to get a little bit hazy. It's not quite clear. So not and not blurred, but it's not quite clear. So early sign. But the best thing is obviously to do the blood test. Then they can be picked up at any time. Yeah?
So
Weight loss, yeah. Oh, yeah, all of a sudden you find that, yeah, well, you start losing weight, and not because you've done anything special, but you're losing weight.
two very quick questions. One, you mentioned about diabetes and it's been discussed. Can you quickly just tell us something about retinopathy, if you don't mind, just definition of it and how the retina is affected because of diabetic eye, for example? That's
Yeah.
one. Second thing is that, can you advise any of us on how to go ahead with some eye exercises, if there are anything that's useful?
There are no exercises really. Yeah, I mean, people believe in a lot of things, right? So yeah, I mean, anything that helps, that beneficial. Play table tennis. I mean, that's the best thing to do. Obviously, any kind of sporting activity, where you're focusing from distances, and your reaction to it, certainly it does help. It does make a difference. Yeah. With diabetic retinopathy, obviously, with diabetes, it tends to make the blood, the wall of the blood vessels slightly weaker. So all the contents are coming out onto the back of the eye, which is, fatty deposit, or you can have little tiny hemorrhages, and that where it may be, deposited, it would affect that part of the retina. The vision will be affected, obviously. So, in extreme cases, it can be quite bad, actually. So certainly, diabetes has to be sorted out, because otherwise it can affect.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what I would like to do is, while we've got time, I would like to ask Zuli Qasim to come up and tell us about his eye condition. So Zuli, would you like to come here? Or do you want to sit there? Should I bring the mic?
Yeah, let him come in.
Yeah, come. Yeah.
You want this or you want this? Hold on to that.
Best
You want that? No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Tell him why you called him, please.
Oh, yeah. So, no, I thought he was going to say everything by himself.
No,
Yeah. So
to share the fees with you.
that's why speaking. The reason I've asked Zuli Qasim to come and speak to us is because he has got an eye condition called macular degeneration. So he is suffering from that, and he will tell you how it affects the eyes and the vision, and how we are coping.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yeah, I suffer from AMD, in short, age-related macular degeneration. So basically, it affects your central vision. The best part, of course, it went from attending the optician, and then, of course, the optician recommended to go to eye clinic at the hospital, and series of appointments, and we are lucky that we have a good NHS service there. How did it start? Because I'm diabetic, so this has related to it. But I was going to the optician frequently, changing my prescription. And of course, I said, this is not normal, Every 3 months, 4 months, I was really helping the optician to increase his cash flow. And finally, they said, no, something is wrong. In a year, 3 times at least, I had to change my numbers. And then, of course, they did all the scan and everything. And for those of you who don't know exactly what the illness is as such, somebody described to me, and there's a word they call drusion. This word drusion is spots on your retina, and you can't clear it. And as one optician described nicely to me, he says, like an old mirror. When you have an old mirror, and the silver at the back of the mirror goes, of course the silver doesn't go all of it at the same time. There are black spots on it at the back. The silver has gone. So of course when you look in the mirror, you'll see black spots. Those black spots are not on your cheeks anyway, but it's on the mirror, and you cannot re-silver that. That's exactly what's on the lens. To a point, it was fine. Normal advice, diet, this, that. But then things started getting bad. And when I first really observed was driving. I was hitting curbs. I was hitting all sorts of things at night, apart from human beings or dogs or anybody. But that affected, or glare of the cars, and all these things, or even, and of course you don't notice much because when you're driving, you're not walking that much. And finally, yeah, what was the best thing? They stopped me driving. I haven't taken it as a worst, best thing, because at least, as the optician said, before you kill somebody, or you kill yourself, or you hit somebody, he says, no, if you don't report, we will report to the DVLC. I said, DVLA, yeah. I said, okay. And then, of course, more pressure was put because I was still driving, which we all do. You know, Sainsbury baju mache, or, you know, they said no, because it would affect your insurance if you had an accident. And then my son decided one day, just came, took the keys, and next minute he said, Dad, car is sold. I think that's the best thing he did. That's the best part of it. The worst is, and we live around it. Alhamdulillah, with the help of opticians and local clinic, those who live in the Hillingdon, the eye clinic used to be at Hillingdon Hospital. But now that eye clinic has moved, and all eye tests and everything is at Mount Vernon, which is, of course, for me, living in Northwood, very close. What's the frustration? The frustration is little things, like example. If I boil a kettle, when I pour, I have a little gadget, but of course, we don't use it. I always overpour. I cannot judge how far. So in other words, either I pour the tea or water in the cup, and I have only half a cup tea, getting used to it. It's not enough. I want more. And I cannot judge that. Or going out, not because I don't drive. I was thinking of applying to the local authority that give me a part-time job, and I will tell you every crack, every hump, every hole in the payments, or any uneven payments can be changed, because I said I can give you this free service. That is the frustration. One has to be very, very careful, because easily you can stumble on the payments. You cannot judge. So most of the time you have to be careful when you're walking, when you're looking down. I love gardening. That's another frustration. When it comes to pruning, it's very dangerous for me to use the pruner because I cannot judge where I'm cutting. I overcut or anything, so that is really frustration. Going out to eat at the restaurants, really frustration. I can't read the menu. Yes, I have a special magnifying glass and I have to use that, but it's frustrating. It's not, you know, even if I go out in a public place with the wife, I have to tell my wife, don't wear anything matching. Just scarf chene. Colorful. So I can spot you from the far. Don't wear a plain scarf. Wear one where it's got multiple spots or color or something. I said, because param દિવસે હું ક્યાં ગયો, light color નું scarf હતો, બાઈને બોલાવા ગયો, પછી ખબર પડી મારી wife નથી, આ કોઈ બીજું કોઈ છે. So things like that. Or somebody passing by car, in the car, they wave to me. I wave back, but I don't know who it is, unless I recognize a car or something. Distance from far is just another human being, another face. Unless I know that person very well, then I can recognize. So all these little things really frustrate you. But one has to live by it. I am registered with RNIB, for those of you, Royal National Institute of Blind. They are at King's Cross. Very helpful. Yeah, just for example, at night, I mean, I have a speaking clock. So if I want to know, time just press and the clock will speak to you, so you know your timing. Simple gadgets like night light. If you get up off the bed straight away, can't adjust my eyes, I have one of these, press it and it lights. So by the time I come back in the bed, I press it again. Simple, you can buy it from any DIY shops or any, I call it a dollar shop, pound shop. So all these little things, frustrating becomes like, I don't attempt to cut my nails, I don't attempt smaller items. If I'm on holiday, I'm in the shower. Before I go in the shower, I have to ask my wife, when they cut the shampoo kyanche, the conditioner kyanche, because I can't read. Yeah, I can't read. So at least from before, you adapt all these things. But there are equipments nowadays. I mean, there is like an iPad, which magnifies a document. So I can keep a document or bill or letter or anything, and I can put it on it. So I don't have to hold up, because the magnifying glass at the most is just that size. But at least an iPad, you can read an A4 paper. Help is given by the local authority. I mean, these equipments are not cheap. They're £400–500, but at least you are able to read. You can magnify and read. TV is an issue. I sit very close to TV, big screen, but of course, subtitles I cannot read. Becomes difficult. Screen-wise, I can see. If I'm sitting right at the back there, I can't see the Maulana. I can hear him, but I can't see. So I was going to suggest to the Jamaat that, you know, have, like the way we are in the aircraft, behind the chair you have that little TV. We should have a little TV with that, so at least I can see him and hear him, or du'as as such, any titles you can't read. So that's basically what it is. I've asked about diet, and I've been told a lot of yellow stuff. I do take some capsules, which is enough. I did ask Mohsin by last time, and he said, if it keeps you happy, make you shield, yeah. If it keeps you happy, continue, but, you know, no harm on it as such. So basically, that's what it is.
So what is the treatment? Any treatment, or is it a permanent condition?
I have the dry one, and I've been told, and Mohsin Bhai will confirm, that research is still going on in States, here as well. They're trying to find a solution for the dry, which I have, AMD. But research is on, So, and he's the first one who will say, tell me when it happens. Officially, from the local authority, apart from saying it's an AMD, they have diagnosed and told me that we won't call you blind, because at least you can still see and walk about this thing. You are officially sight impaired. So I'm known as a sight impaired. Now, of course, there's an advantage on that sight impaired, because my wife is now officially my carer, and I love going to museums and art gallery or any places such where, and I get a cheap concession there, and my carer goes free. So wherever we want to go to garden centers or things like that, or Kew Gardens, I'm a member. Yeah, I take the wife to read, but now I have, in the last 3-4 weeks, with advice of the opticians, there's a new pair of glasses these days. What do they call that? Meta. Ray-Ban Meta, which helps. I'm just getting used to it, where you wear the glasses and it does all sorts of things. Instead of using your mobile phone, this can take pictures, video. The other day I tried by reading, I bought some plant food, and you know, I was just about to take the magnifying glass and read. And my wife said to me, "Tamara chashmati try karo." I said, "Oh yeah, good idea." So I put the glasses, and I looked at that, and I gave instructions, and then read to me. So alhamdulillah, you know, alhamdulillah.
Thank you.
You can ask a question, please.
Please.
How do you describe dry macular degeneration? Because I was a bit vague.
Sorry, repeat again?
Describe dry macular degeneration.
No, the one I have is AMD, age-related macular degeneration. Yeah, age-related. But they're saying that apart from age-related, the best way I was told when it first came, they said your eyes are at 80, 90 years of age, while your body is still not reached that age. Your eyes have aged more than your physical body. And he said, whatever you want to read, read now. But it's one of those things which reading becomes, so now for me, listening, I mean, even at night, majlisis, everything, you know, I can't read that much. Books becomes difficult because even with that paid, it's not, you know, you have to magnify it and this thing. But listening has become a big better. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Whilst we are talking about the subject, there are sort of you know, iPads where you just you know, sort of with pressing the button, it tends to read to you, which is what you're saying about Meta. But they are in the market. They are slightly more expensive. They haven't become very popular, but it is there. The treatment for dry eyes now, I say, you know, it's not something that nothing has worked as such. But when I went to one of the exhibitions only last year, and there was a stall with one of the you know, optometrists, and he had given the treatment to his people in Surrey. He's got a practice in Surrey, and he swears by it. He said, "Oh, it works, and you know, it will improve the vision." But I'm not sure, because if it was the case, then we would have read about it in our journal, but nothing has come up as such, not that I know of. And one of the leading optometrists, he's in Redlet, you know, Kirit Patel, his name is. He is very good on his eye conditions and whatever. And he was telling me that, you know, the only thing that it does, and it's costing about £1,500 every 3 months for the treatment. He said, well, he knows it doesn't, you know, treat it, but it just massages the macula. Now, whatever that may mean, massaging the macula, does it help? I don't know. But then again, you know, you can't, there's no improvement on that chart. It doesn't even improve by one line. So I don't know, I mean, you know, whether it's worth it or not. But it is, they're trying. So it is there. So, you know.
This is turnover.
Yes, that's right, yeah, right. So there we go. Okay.
But I'm sure if you hear anything as such.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Dr. Sarwar.
Explain what is massaging the macular vein.
What is?
Massaging the macular.
Oh, this guy was saying there is a instrument. They're saying. I mean, they came to my practice about 10 years ago when they were introducing it in UK, and I was a little bit. Thank you very much. Yeah, I was a little bit apprehensive on the effect of it, because I normally like to look at the research papers and keep up with our journals and what is coming out. So very much with it, and nothing has come in our journals to say that it works. Now, you know, obviously you can take anybody's word to say, well, it's working. You know, was it working? Did it improve by 1%, or did it improve by 90%? Because if it's improved 50% plus, then that's great. You know, are you going to spend that time in getting the treatment? I'm not talking about money. You know, everybody's got, they probably can pay for it. But, you know, is it worth it? You know, whether it's, but if it was working, then there'll be, you know, it'll be in our journal like anything, and a lot of people would benefit. And if it was working, it would definitely come on NHS for sure, because our NHS, you can't beat it. They are so good in everything. You know, I must say, I know locally you might not be quite happy, but overall for all these facilities, like Zuli has just mentioned, you know, obviously NHS for him has been very supportive. You know, they don't have to, but they are very supportive. So certainly, yeah. But no treatment has come out, not to my knowledge, rather.
How do you massage the macula?
How do?
How do you massage the macula?
You can't. No, you can't put your finger in it, right? You can use a laser or whatever. But no, I mean, this guy was just saying to me, because obviously, you know, he's got a clientele who really trust him, and he said, you know, perhaps it might help massaging, like, you know, when you go for your massages, whether they help or not. So there you go. Any other questions? Yeah. Type 2. And it's nothing to do with diabetes. It's just unfortunate in his case. You know, normally macular degeneration is normally noticeable in Europeans. In our case, it's very, you know, sort of little. There's not much. I mean, I know another case, you know, where we have slight macular degeneration because of age, but otherwise, you know, no. Oh, okay, sorry. So I mean, I'm surprised that, you know, Zuli has got it. I mean, Zuli, was it in the family, macular degeneration?
Not of within my immediate family, not, but I do know from historical that I had an uncle from my dad's side, my dad's brother, who passed away.
Yeah.
But I remember he had some kind of eye problem.
Right. Okay. Now we don't know. Yeah. Sure. Well, it's like me when we are doing, when the patient comes in, sitting down, when you're asking questions, and you always ask, you know, is there any, you know, history of partial blindness or blindness? Because people don't know, because even glaucoma can obviously reduce your field of vision. Macular degeneration, we didn't know about in Africa. I mean, we never knew. Glaucoma, we did a little bit. Not everybody knew, but it was there. You know, so certainly cataract is very straightforward. I mean, you know, obviously everybody knows about cataract nowadays. So yeah, there we go. Anybody else?
You finished?
Yeah, finished.
Any other questions? Anything? Really want to thank Mohsin for his fantastic presentation as always. Accepted my invitation to come and speak to us. I know he has to take some time off to do that. And thank you for your illustration. It has helped a lot of people understand what macular is, the condition, the degeneration is correct. What I think we should always remember when it comes to any health, especially with optics as well as any other general health, is exercise on a regular basis, early minimum 6 hours sleep. Would you recommend that?
Yes.
8 hours sleep. I would say 6 to 8 hours. For my age, 6 hours is okay. But exercise, walking, okay, because in life only one thing is most important, circulation. If your circulation is good, your life is good. In every aspect, every organ in your body, if there's no circulation of blood going in there, it will fade, okay? All the treatments are based on that sort of situation. So please do remember to take exercise, like he said, brisk exercise, you know, at least 5 times a week, 40 minutes. And brisk exercise means that as you're walking, you have to break into a bit of a sweat. That is reaching that peak level of exercise. If you exercise, walk is fine, that's fine. Like this morning, what Abdul Bhai also mentioned, or how to do small exercise at the same time and keep on carry on. Even if you go on holiday and you come back, just do it. Okay, and Abdul Bhai, although he's 100 years old, but look how fit he is, mashallah. So, I mean, this is a tribute to young men like Abdul, as a young-looking man, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him a long, healthy life. I mean, okay, yeah.
Sorry. Very quickly, can I emphasize, please get your eyes tested every year. If you're over the age of 70, it doesn't cost you anything for the eye test. but don't try to skip on money because you must get your eyes tested every year, whatever age you may be. Secondly, get a scan done because all the sort of leading opticians now have got the scan which goes right to the back of the eye, which is where things like macular degeneration, the strength of the nerve fibers is picked up, the strength of the nerve fibers in glaucoma is picked up, which we can't see. This is going behind the retina. It'll cost you probably £50. If you want, like I mentioned before, you can get the optician to put a direct debit on £5 a month. So when you go, you don't have to fork out too much money at the same time. But eye test is so important that for any bodily condition, there's no point in getting something wrong and then say, oh Christ, what happened? Basically, just use your NHS exemption for the eye test. That's the reason they give you free eye examination so that things can be picked up, conditions can be picked up earlier. So I would strongly recommend don't sort of skip on it. Don't ignore it. That's what I would recommend. All right.
Yeah, thank you very much. Once again, I can't thank you enough. And maybe whenever you're ready for your third part, you let us know. Okay. We are busy for the next few weeks, but inshallah, sometimes it's October, November, we can accommodate you. And we have got some other young opticians as well whom I've invited, so maybe we can make a consortium. I was thinking if we could, at the seniors, have some sort of an eye test, can that be arranged here or is it difficult? I mean, just...
No, basic eye tests can be arranged. Basic eye tests can be arranged like we used to do years ago. Remember in the annex, we used to, have eye test and sort of quick cholesterol check and whatever. So it can be arranged. It's quite simple. It's not difficult. So nowadays, you can do it on the computer. You can put a test chart on the computer.
Yeah, so I thought something like diagnostics. We could do the blood pressure, BP measurements. A lot of pharmacists and doctors who can do that, and then there's optics that can do it.
We can quite easily.
We can do the BMI, height and weight, and it's just indicative. I'll give you an example. There was one young man. We were just doing diagnostics here in the month of Ramadan. He came in, his blood pressure was high, so we thought it's very high blood pressure. We took it again. He said, "Na bani shake, I'm going into." He had a trainer with him and everything, and he was fit as a fiddle. You won't believe it. We sent him straight to the doctors, and he's on 3 types of medication for BP. So blood pressure, for example, is a blind killer. Nobody knows it. It goes up and down. Similarly, eyes as well. Macular degeneration is one. Okay, and I think, by the way, welcome, Nazir Bhai. After a long time, we've seen you. Welcome, please. I hope you get here every week, inshallah. And that means I'm welcoming all of you, by the way. But it's good, nice to have some veterans here, like Bashir Bhai.
I think Mohsin should organize this eye test.
Yeah, that's very quite,
Yeah.
quite
So,
simple. Very simple.
yeah.
Very simple.
So one of these Wednesdays, rather than having the chat after our exercises, we could be doing all these tests and whatever. Yeah, sure. Okay, any other comments, anybody? It's an open forum. Yes, doctor.
How much does NHS provide for driving? Because he has had some NHS help from, so do everybody get it?
Yeah. I think so. I think so.
Yes, yes, because it's in the interest of NHS to provide you with whatever might be necessary or might help. It's in their interest because obviously if somebody loses their sight, then they have to care, they have to support, and obviously that's very expensive. So yeah, NHS would do it for you. They are great. They are great.
Yeah, one of the sites is NHS itself. If you go in there, all the icons will come in, and you'll be amazed. Yesterday. Okay, in a few weeks' time, I'm hoping to present to us seniors here a précis on vitamins and supplements. Yeah, and I was going through different websites, and one of the websites that's really interesting on the vitamins, etc., complete overall, is the NHS website. And on that one, I actually found all the eye vitamins and things like that. So that's a very good thing. If you're not doing anything, click on NHS and it'll take you through the whole thing, 11 o'clock at night, you stop reading it. 12 o'clock, you go to sleep, yeah? 1 hour.
That's right, yes,
Yeah.
1 hour.
So that means, yeah.
On the supplements and vitamins is so useful to have certain methods.
It's about 4 weeks' time. I've got next week. I've got Dr. Kapasi, and a week after that, I think we've got somebody on AI speaking. Okay, and then we have got Murabi Bashir Bhai speaking, and after that, maybe 2 to 3 weeks from now, inshallah, I will be talking on vitamins, supplements. Are the vitamins necessary? Do you need to take vitamins, or should you take vitamins? And why should you take vitamin D, for example? What is vitamin K and D? Everybody walks into my pharmacy and say, I want K3 and D3, Do they understand what K3 is all about? Do they understand what B complexes are? Are we overdoing it? Are we not overdoing it? Do we need supplements? If you are a vegetarian, you must take vitamin B12. Otherwise you'll be short of it. Cyanocobalamin, you must take it. We have to educate our people. Okay. Also doing fasting and other times we have to do that. So I thought that subject would be very interesting for our elders, and inshallah in 3 to 4 weeks' time. I've prepared it almost ready, just in case there was a contingency or Mohsin didn't turn up today, then I would speak. But you know what I mean. So you need to have a contingency. Sorry, Mohsin bhai. Nazir? Sorry, which one?
House of Parliament.
House of Parliament. Nazir bhai? Oh, man, Assalamu alaikum. Okay, so that is something that we will work on, and our outings manager is Nazir Bhai Virji, and I will talk to you about it, inshallah, and we can take it from there.
For the summer, before the heat goes out.
Tomorrow is gone. It's going to be raining tomorrow. Very quickly, I find we have this habit of listening to people and say, oh, this supplement works for me. So without any advice, we just go to and pick it up from the shelf because obviously it doesn't sort of suit everybody. Now, I was just reading about it, one of the supplements, so I can't remember, but that's the one that leads to lung cancer. Just the combination of different supplements. So very important to check it up with the pharmacists, because they are the people who would guide you and say, look, this is what you should be taking for your conditions, bodily conditions, because they know your bodily conditions. Just a thought. So certainly there we are.
Thank you. Sure, please have a seat, yeah. So brothers, this is a very proud moment for us. This is Eid Zahra Mubarak to all of you. It's a great Khushiali for us, especially as Shias. We must always celebrate this with most vigor. And I think I'm going to end the program unless anybody wants to speak. Maulana Sahib, aapko kuch kehna hai? Anybody else?
Mohsin, you made this, diabetes thing very clear.
Okay.
A couple of times I've been to the nurse at my clinic, and she said, you are on borderline. Right. Now, how do I know I'm this or that? Is it just a spot of blood, or you need a problem?
No, borderline, I think that means you are bordering on around about 6.5 sugar level around that time, and there's a possibility you can tip over.
Because of age.
Well, it could be that, or because of your diet, okay, lack of exercise and all that. So all you got to do is watch your food, what you eat, okay? No fried food if you can help it, okay? Steamed food and that kind of situation. Basically, that's what it is, But definitely age affects it, okay? Heredity affects it. If somebody in your family is diabetic, then it might possibly come over that way, yeah? But really and truly, you should try to keep your level of sugar under 5 if you can do that, okay? Your eyes must be checked every year if you're diabetic or if you're supposed to be diabetic, for diabetic retinopathy, etc. People who are diabetic get a letter every year for their test. They should not ignore it, okay? It is, in fact, like wajib. You must go for that test. Otherwise, it can lead to blindness. Correct me.
Very quickly, Nazir, if they said you are pre-diabetic, I would not worry about it. Just carry on with your life. Basically what Kaka was saying, just just change your lifestyle a little bit. Be more active. That's very important. I find, and I recommend all my patients to walk in the evening after dinner for 20 minutes outside or wherever that may be. But carry on with your life. Don't worry about it. It's not going to change. Now, funny enough, yesterday I was talking to somebody, and there's a range, when they do the blood test, and if you are in the sort of over 42 to 47, 42 to 49 is pre-diabetic. But then this guy said to me, because that threshold keeps on changing. So now, he was saying to me, well, 42 to 56 now. And I said, oh, okay, well, so I didn't know, but I mean, it's something there. But if they say you are fine, then just carry on. Just keep active and cut down on fatty food, cut down on, meat if you can. Yeah, fatty meat, that's right. So certainly that should help, yeah.
White meat.
White meat, there we go.
Thank you very much. The takeaway points from his lectures were, one of the most important for me anyway, is I knew this, but I never thought about it to get one, called the occupational glasses. Now, people like me always watching the screen. Okay, I'm always doing some prescriptions and looking at the screen. So something that all of us are involved should get occupational glasses. Thank you for that, good tip. And the other thing was the vision field test. I had it something like about 20 years ago, okay? But I think it's worth still going and looking for those spots, okay? And I think we all get one vision test done, and we should be able to get that to an optician. Mohsin bhai, I'm really grateful. God bless you. Thank you, Jazakallah. Yeah, thank you very much. Now, again, Kushali Mubarak to all of you, and I'm delighted to welcome Al-Hajj Nasser here, who is going to recite a quick qasida for us. Please, thank you. You want to hold it or?
محمد وآل محمد صلوات أفضل السلام محمد وآل محمد مدد کیجئے یا امام زمانہ مدد کیجئے یا امام زمانہ خطا دیجئے غیبت پردہ خدا را پردہ خدا را مدد کیجئے یا امام زمانہ بڑی آفتیں ہیں زمانے پہ مولا پریشان شیعہ کہاں جائے مولا پکارا تمہیں جب ہوا دل جو مضطر مدد کیجئے یا امام زمانہ مدد کیجئے یا امام زمانہ بور میں ہے کشتی بچانے کو آؤ غم زندگی سے چھڑانے کو آؤ محمد کی جان ہو سفینے کے لنگر مدد کیجئے یا امام زمانہ مدد کیجئے یا امام زمانہ تمنا یہ دل میں بہت کچھ ہے میرے ہے امید ہوگی بہت جلد پوری میرے حق میں کر دیجیے جو کچھ بہتر مدد کیجیے یا امام زمانہ مدد کیجیے یا امام زمانہ ہمیں کربلا میں ہو جانا میسر مدد کیجیے مولا ہے دل کی یہ حسرت زرے مقدس سے ہو آنکھیں لگانا مدد کیجیے یا امام زمانہ ہٹا دیجیے غیبت کا پردہ خدا را پردہ خدا را مدد کیجیے یا امام زمانہ صلوات علی محمد و آل محمد صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم.
توجہ زیارت پلیز.
السلام علیکہ یا رسول اللہ السلام علیکہ یا نبی اللہ السلام علیکہ یا امیر المؤمنین السلام علیکی یا فاطمۃ الزہراء السلام علیکہ یا حسن المجتبی السلام علیکہ یا ابا عبداللہ الحسین مظلوم شہید کربلا السلام علیکہ یا ابو الفضل العباس السلام علیکہ یا اولاد الحسین و اصحاب الحسین السلام علیکہ یا علی ابن الحسین و محمد ابن علی و جعفر ابن محمد و موسیٰ ابن جعفر و علی ابن موسیٰ و محمد ابن علی و علی ابن محمد والحسن ابن علی السلام علیکہ یا صاحب الزمان علماؤن 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 من فتنة زمان السلام علیکم جمیعا ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ. بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. اللہم کل ولیک حجت ابن الحسن صلواتک علیہ وعلی آبائہ فی هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنوا أرزك طوى وتمتعوا فيها طويلا برحمتك يا رب الراحمين.